Once upon a time, in the ancient kingdom of Velmora, there ruled a king whose name struck fear into the hearts of all kings. Thunder the Iron Fist. His reign was forged in fire and shadow, and his people lived under the crushing weight of his cruelty. Heavy taxes drained the lifeblood from the peasants, and those who dared to speak against him were either exiled, imprisoned, or executed. He cared nothing for mercy or justice, only for power and absolute control. But within the cold stone walls of his grand castle lived a flicker of light, his daughter, Princess Elira. Elira was unlike her father in every way. Where Thunder saw the people as tools and pawns, Elira saw them as family. She would often sneak out of the castle, disguised as a commoner, to walk among them, bringing bread to the hungry, tending to the sick, and listening to their stories with gentle compassion. Her kindness became a legend whispered among villagers, a hope that perhaps one day the darkness would end. On one such day, Elira wandered into the remote village of nestled between the mountains and rivers, far from the king's watchful eyes. There she met a young man named Kale, the blacksmith's son. Kale was strong, humble, and full of life. He treated everyone with respect and carried a spark in his eyes that reminded Elira of a world she had never known, free, full of laughter and love. They met again and again in secret, their love blooming in the quiet spaces between danger and hope. Kale taught her to ride horses without guards, to cook over an open flame, and to dance to the rhythm of drums during the village festivals. In return, Elira told him of the world beyond the mountains, of stars seen from castle towers, and of books filled with stories of distant lands. But secrets are hard to keep in a kingdom ruled by fear. One night, a castle spy followed the princess from her chamber and saw her ride into the forest. By morning, King Thunder knew of her forbidden love. Furious, Thunder summoned Elira to the throne room. His eyes burned like coals as he thundered, "You disgrace the royal blood, a peasant boy. He is unworthy to breathe the same air as you." Elira stood tall, tears in her eyes, but her voice firm. "He is kinder and more noble than any lord in your court. I love him, father, and I will not stop." Rage took hold of the king. "Then you shall watch him die." He ordered his guards to ride to Darnell and bring Kyle Detter alive. Word reached Elira before the soldiers could, thanks to a loyal maid who overheard the orders. Desperate Elira fled the castle at midnight and raced toward the village, the wind screaming warnings in her ears. But she was too late. Kale had been taken, shackled and beaten, dragged before the king's court. On the execution day, the castle square was packed. The people gathered not out of loyalty but fear. Elira stood beside Kale, her eyes red with sorrow, her hand clasping his. The king raised his scepter. "Let this be a lesson to all. A king's blood does not mix with mud." The boy died. Just as the executioner raised his sword, a cry rose from the crowd. "No more!" It started with one voice, then a second, then dozens. The people, tired of cruelty, stirred by the bravery and love of their princess, stashed the guards. The square erupted into chaos. Peasants with farming tools, bakers with rolling pins, smiths with hammers all fought back. In the confusion, Elira untied Kale, est bonds and fled with him through the secret tunnels beneath the castle, the very tunnels she used to visit the villagers. By dawn, King Thunder found his court in shambles and his daughter gone. The people had risen. His rule, once carved in stone, began to crumble. Elira and Kale escaped beyond the borders of across the Silver Mountains, where they found a land untouched by her father's reach. There they built a haven for those fleeing Thunders. Tyrrhenia, new village, then a town, and soon a free kingdom where justice and kindness rule. As for King Thunder, he clung to his throne for a few more bitter years. But the flame of rebellion had been lit. His soldiers began to desert him. His lands grew barren, and his name faded into curses. In the end, it was not a sword that defeated the cruel king. It was love, courage, and the unyielding spirit of a kind-hearted princess who chose to fight for what was right. And so, the legend of Alira and Kale lived on, reminding generations that even the coldest tyranny can be thawed by the warmth of compassion. And not even the mightiest kings fall when they turn their backs on their people.